Good evening, hello, afternoon. I am Omiinka7 from uh, Omi's Production Studio. And today I've been posting a little bit about our pilot program and the pilot project, rather. I like to say that I'm going to be on this evening at 7:30 explaining a little bit more about the pilot program for foundational science. Now, everyone knew I offered the free class to get an idea what the statistics was and the interest. And this is basically a discussion about how to enroll and pay your $30 for your licensing. Now, let me tell you that you can't go anywhere on this God green earth and take a class like this where you get a license to take. You have up to a whole year, 12 months to finish this exam, to finish the actual course. However, I'm going to ask that you come in at a certain time while I'm online, and this will be a scheduled time so that I can assist you in making sure that you're properly executing the modules. And I will be coming online. Your $35 will be paid, and $30 goes for your licensing. That covers your license to use it anywhere for up to 12 months. The $5 goes for the administrative fee. So I'm not making this money on the licensing. The owner is. I only obtain the administrative fee to pay for all of the administrative sources. Now, let me say for the record, a lot of you may not realize, but taking these classes will open up the doors for you to enter into a new profession. This is a skyrocketing profession that is very much in demand, predominantly in the area of Texas. There are so many jobs that are going unfilled in Texas for those coders that they are doing everything in their power to get people credentialed. While I was out in Texas, I was actually working at the junior college to help to set up the 1-year certificate program to engage young people in this process of taking the 1-year certificate specialty coding. Now, I'm not teaching the specialty coding, of course. I'm teaching foundational courses that will allow you to come in to the coding arena and prepare yourself to be a specialty coder in home health coding. So I repeat, this is a specialty health and home health coding. However, with these classes, you can still do the generalist program, but you would end up with the specialty also. So we're doing the foundations of science, which is the medical terminology and the human anatomy. Then we will consider offering the ICD-10 down the road. These will allow you to prep yourself and get ready to take the exam. There are many exams throughout the state. Those are the ones where you go and sign up under a proctor at a particular university or college. Now, I have been telling you that the conference will also be opening up for testing site on the last day of the conference. That's the 4th day. And if you feel led to and are prepared after you come out of the basics, go into the intermediate, and feel like you are competent enough to take the open book test, that is perfectly up to you. But there will be a fee, as I said, $300 and some odd for that actual exam there at the conference. And there is also still a fee if you go to the university and have the test proctored to you. So I want you to know one thing. This is going to open up a lot of opportunities. Now, as you see there in the background, there is one of the museums of science that back in 2006, I was able to obtain a poster for, and it was talking about the need for medical records. And I started back in medical records back in 1985. That's a long time that I've been at this. And many things have changed. Many things have changed. As a matter of fact, the coding books change quite frequently, and they're due to change again in October. I have the 2019, and I'll be tested on the 2019 book. But after that, if I don't take that test by 2019, those books will change in 2020. And that will be the new book that you have to use. As I said earlier, this is an open book exam, meaning that you will be able to carry your book into the testing ground. And some of you might have not heard me say that there is software that you can use called the medical center software that will actually allow you to check your codes. And some of the independent contractors are using that software now as they process codes. What I want you to know most of all is that you can take this skill anywhere. And because I'm pushing this program so hard for African American, it is the Project Pilot's philosophy that we want to get as many African Americans trained in this field as possible. Because by the year of 2019, which is now, we want to have as many people trained in this profession. This is a profession where there are very low enrollees who are African American, and we want to get most of them trained so that they can start setting up their remote contracts at home after working in the field over 5 years, of course. Then they can start contracting themselves out in the agencies like the government, and the government can bring work to them where they can actually work on processing claims. Now, I am a trainer. And for those of you who don't know me, being a trainer means I'm a professional development trainer specialized in doing continuing education, not just allied health, but educational continuing education for teachers. And I've been doing the educational training for teachers for more than 35 years, where I actually go in and I do professional development for those who have credentials that need to keep their license up to date. I offer them continuing education, and I also offer courses that are outside of the facility that can be a symposium or seminar at local places like they could be going to the hotel for their conference. Now, I want to say for the record that those of you who are trainers out there, we call ourselves TACS, Training and Curriculum Specialists, and we are much in demand by the government and much in demand by the military. I see something here, lipstick everywhere. Much in demand by the government to come in and do the training and meet the specification of the military guideline so that they're not in non-compliance. So our jobs are very special, and there's a shortage of training curriculum specialists that go overseas and go abroad to work for the military. And I had opted to go overseas to work for the military and use my training, my master's degree training. So what I'm going to be talking about tonight is what is a pilot program, and how many people do you include in the pilot program. And I want to tell you that you cannot go anywhere else and get these classes like Dean Vaughn Medical Term, because Dean Vaughn guarantees that you will retain 80%. And that retention would mean that you can recall that information and you will be given a certificate upon completing the online program. Now, I've taught the face-to-face class before. This will be the first time that I will be doing the online class. You will independently be viewing a videotape during the first half of the class. The second half, we will be interacting and playing various different games, talking about the word association procedure, how it's used. And hopefully once you finish this particular project, and you will have a full 12 months to complete your program. Now, just because I'm going to be coming into the picture, You might want to go a little bit slower, but then again, you might want to stay up with the rest of the class so that you can complete the modules and you all finish at the same time. I am pushing this because I like to see more allied health people become agents. And one of the tasks that I have been tasked with by a local organization that works with African American patients who have renal dialysis problem, that have kidney problem, pancreatic problem, that the areas that are most prone by African Americans, there's some research going on, and they are looking for agents as early as high school to work in those laboratories to get the experience in shadowing one of the actual professors and showing them how to do laboratory research. That agency also gives scholarship funding up to $4,000 for a candidate to create a project and present that project and come to their conference to present it. Now, I've been tasked with the task of trying to get people that have a science background to enroll in this program. It is a mentor program, and it is an opportunity for you to have a scholarship where you can do assistantship. Now, as they start off at the high school level, they do matriculate on to college for a bachelor's degree, and they are assisted and helped in aiding them in getting their bachelor's degree, and then go on to get their master's degree, and eventually become an agent that does research on the topic of African Americans in the area that they're most prone to, and that is diabetic type 1, 2, and 3, as well as pancreatic cancer, as well as kidney renal dialysis, so that we will have some experts in our field that are African American. And that has been going on for a while. And every year they pick a person from various different areas to give this scholarship money to. So I am pushing for young people to get that scholarship. And I wish I had the brochure here with me, but I don't. But what we're going to be doing most of all this evening is talking about how we can advance our race in the area of allied health profession. There are very few medical records people that are African American in the field, so we want to up those numbers. We want to push those numbers up. We want to get as many people connected as a family as well. And I will say that we as a family, my daughter-in-law is in this profession. My two sisters are in this profession. And we all have talked about advancing the profession for the benefit of African Americans. And I have been a trainer for Blue Cross Blue Shield, and I have worked in Minneapolis, Minnesota, setting up their training department in the medical records department. And I have worked at Dallas, Garland, at the Richland College there, and setting up their one-year certificate program in medical records. So I've had my endeavor in the area of training and development for medical records and medical anatomy and physiology and medical coding. So I try to stay abreast, and I, purchase my book and my material and try to stay abreast and try to read the updates. But the government is involved in this, so they put out government regulation, which you must keep up to date on so that you are not deficient or neglectfully behind. Because if you stay behind, you won't be recording the most up-to-date codes. So you have got to stay connected and up to date with this. One of the things that I've been telling the people on Messenger, that there is no obligation that you need to make today. As soon as those classes fill up with our 20 students, we will start. Our main thing is this pilot program. It can't go on forever. I don't know how long I'm going to be involved with the pilot program, but I will say you have up into a year once you purchase your license to finish your class. That's a long time to finish a class. Most classes only run for about 8 weeks to 16 weeks. And I was looking to see that the class finishes in 16 weeks. Now, I will be telling you also those people who are considered eligible financially for the coursework that will make them more marketable, bring them up to date. The government is involved in financing those classes, and they have to be classes that are 16 or that are 16 weeks or less, and they have to be under the price of $4,000 for them to pay for it. So some of these programs with full range of other coursework, such as like the human anatomy, and I'll be giving medical term, I'll be giving ICD-9, CP, ICD-10, CP, ICD-10, CM, and those classes will be added on so that you not only just have the anatomy and foundation of science, but you will have the medical terminology. You will have the, this is going on. You will have the ICD-10 CM. Now, I will hope that you will be able to join us tonight at 7:30 p.m. There's a lot of people calling in from other countries, and their time zone is different. You must remember that we're Eastern Standard Time, and that 7:30 is the time Eastern Standard that will be on Facebook or will be on Zoom, whichever one will allow me to get on the fastest. So I cannot guarantee you which one that is. Now, you're in my actual studio. This is my studio for my language buddy, and we're doing some other things in here, like making soap and other things that will produce products. And that's another thing, is that in the training category, which is what I'm in, training and development, I have products, and I produce training materials over the years. And I will hope that if you're a trainer, that you're doing the same thing. And you don't always have to train people and do continuing ed in one particular discipline. You can cross over into other disciplines. And I've been into early childhood training for so long that I wanted to get back into my allied health training, and I finally did. And I did try to bring myself up to date by retaking medical term and also purchasing my books, and also getting ready for this conference that's coming up. And for those of you who have listened to my advertisement, there is a conference coming up in August the 4th through the 11th. That is the coding for home health coders, and there is a compliance workshop coming up in August as well. I think the home health is August 7th, and the compliance is August 4th. So I did make a mistake and make a correction on the fact that this year, for the society that is credentialing home health coders, that they are not just giving out free membership to new members. You have to be an old member for them to allow you to go to the new members extravaganza. And that's what they were talking about. You have to be a previous member in order to go to that. That's a special extravaganza for new members. And they'll be offering that free if you sign up for the actual conference. You got to get in the habit of going to conferences, because once you get your license, they're usually good for 5 years, and then you have to renew your license, and then you have to take continuing education classes. So you need to get used to that and going to the conference, because that's where you can get your CEUs at. And that's probably where you'll find me at some of these workshops, because I am the CEU instructor who gives out continuing education hours. But getting a little hot in here. So we're coming to the end of our discussion, and I would like to